Okay, I think we're good. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Captain Quasar, and welcome back to another unofficial H3 waiting room. Um, well, I guess it's a members episode today. Well, it's still a H3 waiting room because we're talking about H3 stuff today. Thank you, thank you. Try and spam it as quick as I can. How many bonks per minute can we get? But thank you all for stopping in. I'm going to take it just a sec before we get started on the main thing. I do have a couple Lust videos. Oh,
Ooh, that's
oopsie. Sorry, it was setting something else up too. What else was I doing? Oh no. Sorry, I was trying to finish up a script. I was doing so many other things. Ugh. I'm working on one script that's going to take a lot longer than I thought. So I'm writing up something kind of short that I'm going to try and put out by Friday, but I don't know how well that's going to go. It's kind of a quick, it'll probably be like 10 minutes or something, so it shouldn't be that hard to put together, but I need to finish the scripting for it. Pull that up. There we go. There we go. Okay. Sorry, we're here. Dude almost looks like Tom Ward. Me? I wish. Oh, I wish. Oh, fake Ethan in the thumbnail looks like Tom Ward. Oh, I wish. No, I guess a little bit. It's if Tom Ward just put on a wig. It was Tom Ward when he was part of the live studio audience. How's everybody doing? Fake Ethan in the thumbnail, just because. I just looked up Ethan Klein and it was one of the images that came up because it's like a Getty Images image. So I just picked that one because it was funny.
so I've been.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. Tony's voice, our boy Lus. I don't know if maybe listening to it faster will sound better.
Hey guys, so I've been wanting to get to this.
No, it doesn't. Maybe just a little bit. Oop.
Hey guys, so I've been wanting to get to this part for a while.
Actually, that does help just a bit. Okay. Let's see what Tony's got to say. This actually came out yesterday. It must just be over 24 hours. But Ethan Klein versus H3 Snark. H3 Snark 133 pages. Collective Declaration of Does. My YouTube player is broken. I can't even select different speeds. Are you on desktop?
Hey guys, so I've been wanting to get to this part for a while. It's 133 pages, but I'm going to summarize and condense this for you. So it is the Declaration of Doe Defendants, the H3 Snark moderators, and it is very long. It is very long. It supports a motion to quash subpoenas that Ethan Klein and TED Entertainment, which we're going to call TEI, issued to Reddit and Discord seeking to identify anonymous moderators and users of the subreddit H3 Snark. So giving you a little bit of background, Ethan Klein and TEI filed free copyright-related lawsuits in 2025. These lawsuits targeted anonymous Reddit users, the Does, who moderated or participated in H3 Snark, a subreddit critical to Ethan and his content. TEI claims that the subreddit promoted and coordinated copyright infringement by linking to videos reacting to H3 content, notably Countdown and Nuke. The Does claim TEI's true purpose is to unmask, punish, and silence critics, not to enforce copyright law. The purpose of the declaration, the Does filed this declaration to rebuke TEI's claim and evidence, demonstrate that TEI's subpoena are retaliatory and overboard, show that their subreddit activity was protected free speech under the First Amendment. Core arguments by the Doe defendants, these subpoenas are retaliatory and abusive. TEI seeks to identify dozens of Reddit and Discord users, many unrelated to H3 Snark. Several accounts targeted in these subpoenas were never moderators, active users, or even real. The Doe argued that TEI's true goal is to intimidate critics by doxing them. H3 Snark's moderation was lawful. Again, these are the arguments. We will get to Ethan's arguments tomorrow. The H3 Snark moderation was lawful. The subreddit discussed public matters and moderated against harassment, doxing, or personal attacks. It enforced strict rules regarding Ethan Klein's children and private life. Moderation practices were voluntary and unpaid. TEI's copyright, number 3, TEI's copyright claims are baseless. The does never uploaded or distributed infringing content. They only facilitated discussion of others' reactions. A YouTube alternative site, YouTube, LinkedIn Discussions was not a piracy site, but an open source YouTube mirror.
It in the context of its usage, it is piracy. But I'm trying to look up real quick how they moderated for talking about Ethan's kids, because I am actually wondering now, because I'm like, did they moderate that well?
The does note that TEI never filed DMCA takedowns before suing, suggesting their motives weren't copyright related. Fair use defense, the declaration heavily cites Hosen Dan vs. Klein, 2017, where Ethan Klein himself successfully used fair use to defend a reaction video. They argue that streamers like Denins, whose reaction video TEI cited, provided extensive commentary, pausing over 150 times to critique Klein's nuke video, making it transformative content under fair use law. Number 5, public statements show Klein's intent to retaliate. The declaration includes transcripts of Klein's H3 podcast episodes, where he discusses getting their names and.
I mean, I'm just looking at different posts. There's a bunch of posts about their kids, so. And then, like, they're full of comments as well, like, talking about different stuff. Like, literally one just making fun of Sunny's name. Literally one that's just making fun of Sunny's name, and it has 98 upvotes and 60 comments. Like, what the fuck? Was that meaningful criticism?
And ruining moderators financially. On air, Klein called the lawsuits revenge against critics and mocked the defendants for hiring lawyers. He even joked about whether Reddit moderators had jobs or monies to defend themselves. Number 6, harassment and doxing concerns. The does cite multiple instances where Klein or his fan base allegedly threatened or harassed him online. They claim Klein posted Instagram stories implying he would expose moderators' personal identities to family, friends, work, and school. These threats allegedly caused H3 Snark to go inactive from February 2025 and permanently shut down by May 2025. Rebuttals to the TEI claims. TEI accused H3 Snark moderators of defamation and harassment, including spreading false rumors. For example, drug use allegations and false reports to child services. The does responded that these accusations are fabricated or misattributed, emphasizing they condemned any harassment and no involvement with those incidences. They point out that even Klein himself continues to publicly disclose personal information, undermining claims of fearing harassment. What was actually the evidence here? The declaration includes screenshots, transcripts, and YouTube timestamps showing Denin's transformative commentary, Instagram stories, H3 podcast quotes, and Reddit posts showing Klein's statements about exposing moderators. Proof that TEI's attorney monitored the subreddit and could easily identify moderators without broad subpoenas. Example of H3's history of weaponizing legal threats against critics. So the relief that they're asking for, they don't ask the court to quash TEI subpoena to Reddit and Discord in full, award attorney fees to does, issue an order protecting anonymous online speech from being unmasked through misuse of copyright law. The declarations portray TEI's actions as part of a campaign of legal intimidation designed to suppress criticism of Ethan Klein rather than protect intellectual property. It argues that revealing the identities of Reddit users would expose them to harassment and violate their constitutional right to anonymous speech. The filing ends with a plea for the court to safeguard online expression and prevent copyright claims from being used as a pretext for personal retaliation. In a later video, we're probably going to grind out the conclusion. I think the conclusion is where all the information really lies. There's a lot of fluff, of course. It's 133 pages. It's very long to read. It's a lot of information to take in. Remember, this is the H3 Snark's perspective. This is their best opinion. This is their best way to win. It is interesting. Again, I find it very ironic that they're saying, "Oh, we don't harass Ethan." We don't. What was the point of H3 Snark, right? Like, why did a bunch of people get together?
I mean, Is this going to be their hinging? Like what they're going to hinge on? Look at the definition. Critical or mocking comments made in an indirect or sarcastic way. I was just being sarcastic. It was all sarcasm. But what does it also say? H. Like the original sub. What is it? Criticism of the H3 podcast, the H3 show with Ethan Klein.
To join the subreddit? Was it to cheer Ethan on? Was
I mean, having a dedicated place to criticize something, I don't know. Like, I feel like I've said this from the beginning, and I really do believe it, that people need to start focusing on the things that they like and not just the things that they dislike. Because it's got to be a detriment to your mental health, you know, to identify yourself as a fallen fan, but then you are still invested through hate watching, and that investment is unnecessary and unbeneficial to you as an individual. Because if you're getting joy, like one, you shouldn't get the joy out of anyone's detriment. Like I don't know, even in the context of like the worst type of people, you shouldn't get a joy out of them failing or them losing. You would get a joy out of what it would mean for like the greater good or something like that. You know what I mean? Like Trump, if he would have lost the election, it wouldn't be like ha 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 Trump lost. It'd be like, oh yes. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not necessarily, if all you're focusing on is the negative, I feel like that's got to do bad for you. And creating whole communities based around hate, on hate watching specifically, because like everybody's got an opinion, you know what I mean, but you can also voice those opinions in, well, in other people's communities that like talk about contrasting opinions. Like people that might not like the quartering might watch H3, but they also probably aren't that invested in the quartering because the quartering isn't a like a staple of the H3 podcast, of the H3 show. I only focus on the things that I like, and it's a pretty great way to go through life. Madman, we all need to be a little bit more like you, a little bit more mad. Am I right? Mad in a wacky way, right? Or are you angry, man? I guess I never asked. I never clarified.
was it to say nice? No, it was to say nasty things, right? So is it all that surprising when a subreddit gets out of control and they
I do like that too. I didn't even like put two and two together. I was on the H3 Snark and found that them criticizing Sunny's name, and it's just like, that's your criticism. That's your level of criticism. Your son's name is stupid. Grow up. Grow up and get a life.
start attacking Ethan's children? To me, no. Like to me, they're framing it as, oh, this subreddit just has a few bad apples. Well, when a subreddit is created for the social,
I think people need to remember, because I think Ela said this at one point. Don't use that saying incorrectly. The full saying is a few bad apples ruins the bunch. You can't have a few bad apples. You have to weed out the bad apples, because a few bad apples ruin the bunch. They'll rot you from the inside out. Um, but yeah, it is what it is, you know.
purpose of attracting these bad apples, I do think the conclusion is worth reading on its own, and maybe we'll do that tomorrow. We have we have a lot of other stuff to cover in other legal cases since I've been sick for over a month now. Yeah, probably over a month.
Yeah. What is H3 Snark? Adults bullying babies. And I'm not talking, oh yeah, they have criticisms of Ethan. They literally are making fun of his son. Just why? Oh, it's Fried Chicken Wednesday. I didn't even think about that. Might need to fry up some chicken. I did actually eat 2 spicy chicken sandwiches before I started. So I'm already on the right track, you know what I mean? They're all lost in the snarker sauce now. I do love all the people that are like you. That one guy that was like, "You may know me from getting doxxed by Ethan and Eli." It's just funny on so many levels. Because one, that's not what happened. Two, if you actually got doxxed, why would you want to make like a bunch of videos being like, "Hey, it was me. I'm the guy who got all my information put out there. Don't go looking for it." Like, it's just a weird thing to say, but but then there are also other people like that. The other one who was talking to Harley, who said, "I used to run the biggest H3 hate account, and you know what? I'm thinking I might start it up again." Weirdo. Cornball. Cornball is one of my favorite insults. Cornball. Cornball head ass. That one hits hard.
But yeah, we will definitely do a good job reading and conclude.
You're right, you will.
Hey guys, today.
Was that it? Okay, I thought there was one more. Good. So this one actually came out 4 hours ago. Ethan Klein versus H3 Snark Reddit mods. Who is winning subpoena battle?
We are going to talk about Ethan Klein's response. So this is November 10th. Objections to the declaration in support.
I just made and had butter chicken, chickpea curry, and garlic cheese naan for dinner. That's basically fried chicken, right? It's basically the same thing.
And it is a very, very interesting and very short document. Remember how long H3 Snark's documents have been? I believe it is very refreshing to the judge that this document isn't 113 pages. So there are a few objections.
Bro, you pounded those chicken sandies like a beast. So true. I threw them back. I opened up my mouth and then they just disappeared. Eat up, Alex. Got to get them gains. You need the protein. You know what I get? I don't get these are actually pretty decent. I have like a problem where most oven bake ones aren't that good. Most of the ones you make in like the air fryer or the oven or whatever usually don't come out that good. But I've started getting the Banquet. Banquet has spicy chicken sandwiches and they're actually pretty good. They hold up. I really don't like most of the time the when it's like ground chicken. That's a no-go.
TEI objection.
Let me run it back.
Hey guys, today we are going to talk about Ethan Klein's response. So this is November 10th. Objections to the declaration in support. And it is a very, very interesting and very short document. Remember how long H3 Snark's documents have been? I believe it is very refreshing to the judge that this document isn't 113 pages. So there are a few objections, TEI objections that he has. Improper reply evidence. TEI argues the moderator submitted new evidence too late, evidence that should have been included with their original motion to quash the subpoena. They cite cases saying you can't save major evidence for a reply because the other side doesn't get a fair chance to respond. TEI asked the court to strike dozens of paragraphs and exhibits from Doe's reply, claiming they could have been submitted earlier. They don't respond to TEI's arguments and their unfair surprise attacks. So that's number one. Number two, improper legal arguments in a declaration. TEI says declarations must be factual, not legal argument. They argue Doe's reply declaration improperly contains legal conclusions, interpretation of law, argumentative statements. TEI lists a long set of paragraphs they want stricken for this reason.
I like that basically each time that because I know that's just the way that these like legal declarations happen, these back and forths, but I do like that every time it's like Snark goes, here's all our information, here's everything you need to know, and then Ethan and Ela's lawyers just have to come back and go, no, you're wrong for A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. I've ran out of letters, but a bunch of other things as well.
Hearsay objections. TEI says many screenshots, quotes, and statements in the Doe's declaration are inadmissible hearsay, including out-of-court statements, unsworn testimony, screenshots from Reddit, YouTube, Discord, etc. They argue these cannot be used to prove the truth of the matters asserted. 4. Improper expert testimony. TEI says moderators are not experts, yet they give expert-style opinions on legal issues, digital forensics, technical analysis, online video editing, and streaming. TEI argues they don't provide qualifications or reliable methods, so this testimony must be
Nah, you're too dumb. Next.
excluded. So this is kind of the H. Free Stark mindset. That if you say, hey, I'm a legal expert, when you really have no legal degree or legal experience or expertise, you have to prove it to the court. You have to prove it to the court. You can't just say it on Reddit and then it becomes true. 5, lack of personal knowledge. TEI argues many statements in those
Also, you're dumb. Next.
declaration cannot possibly be based
Don't know anything. You're not qualified, and you're dumb, and you're stupid. Next.
on first-hand knowledge, rely on speculation, refer to things the declarant did not witness, combine testimony on behalf of 8 people without identifying who actually knows what. They argue these should be disregarded. Number 6, incomplete, misleading statements. TEI invokes Rule 106, Rule of Completeness, claiming moderators selectively quoted Ethan Klein's videos and other material in misleading ways. TEI provides timestamps and references show additional context they claim must be included to avoid misrepresentation. 7, improper summary evidence. TEI argues that the moderator's summary exhibits are invalid because they are based on edited, incomplete videos, they lack proper authentication, they rely on inadmissible hearsay, they don't meet foundational requirements for summaries under Rule 1006. Irrelevant. Number 8, irrelevant evidence. TEI argues that large portions of those declaration are irrelevant to the legal issues.
Irrelevant. You're lame. Next.
Would confuse the court, are needlessly cumulative, and are prejudicial. They move to strike them under Rules 401 and 403. 9, characterization of evidence. TEI claims the moderators misrepresented prior declarations, misquoted materials, distorted evidence, made claims contradicted by the underlying videos and declarations. TEI listed specific paragraphs they say mischaracterize facts or require extrinsic evidence to correct.
I mean, at a certain point, it does just feel like kicking the can down the road or whatever you'd say, because it's just like, when it becomes this many, like, instances of correction and, like, points that their lawyers are actually having to contest, it really makes you wonder, like, are they really just trying everything? Like they're just shooting at every Hail Mary that they've got, or what? Because I just don't get it. On a certain level, you just like at a certain point you got to bite the bullet. Not literally, because I know there was that one comment in the original Doe's declarations where they said, if Ethan Klein got the opportunity, he would kill me. Ethan Klein has money and a gun. Some of the craziest shit I've ever read.
Number 10, improper arguments raised for the first time in reply. TEI claims the Does raised new legal and factual arguments that should be considered waived because they were not raised in the original motion or not responses to the TEI's opposition, constitute unfair sandbagging. TEI lists multiple pages and lines from the Doe's reply brief that they want disregarded.
Yeah, they're throwing spaghetti at the wall, but it's still raw. It's all just bouncing off and shattering.
Overall, so that was number 10. TEI's document is essentially an attempt to limit or eliminate the Doe's reply materials, which I think they did a really good job of doing. They want the court to strike large portions of the reply declaration, ignore parts of the reply brief, disregard certain exhibits, and treat many arguments as waived or improper. And obviously, this would significantly weaken. So what is the conclusion here? The conclusion I have here from these 10 points is, yeah, this is a legal battle. This is about contributory copyright infringement. What does like all these other people have to do with this? Like Shoe on Head and books on history, none of it. Like this is nonsense and it's a waste of time. The only person benefiting from this, and certainly it is not the H3 Snark mods because they look very silly even publicly. They have outed themselves as experts in various fields without actually, remember the whole idea is they're anonymous, right? So if you're anonymous, how do we know that you're an expert in digital forensics? Maybe you are. Or are you really going to come out and they kind of like checkmated themselves, right? Let's say they are an expert in digital forensics, or they're like an investigator and they have experience and they have expertise in all this stuff, which they're claiming. Prove it. But to prove it, they have to give up their names. So this is a very ironic thing where you have moderators who are power hungry, who are always saying, oh, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I have I'm a cardiologist, I'm a heart surgeon. So they make these very bold claims and they never have to back them up online because the idea is that you're anonymous, right? For me, I make the claim that I'm a copyright attorney for 10 plus years. My name, my LinkedIn, everything is not anonymous. And that's, I think for lawyers, that's on YouTube. That's the way it should be.
I'm a little, wait. I've been trying to listen because his voice is kind of difficult to listen to right now. I'm sorry if it seems like I'm not reacting that good. I'm genuinely trying to take in what he's saying because a lot of it's getting lost in the grumbles.
You have moderators who are power hungry, who are always saying, "Oh, I'm a lawyer," I'm in themselves, right? Let's say they are an expert in digital forensics, age-free snark mods, because they look very silly even publicly. They have outed themselves as experts in various fields without actually. Remember, the whole idea is they're anonymous, right? So if you're anonymous,
so he's saying that in the context of them on Snark, right? Because they've talked about like having like an overabundance of knowledge in specific fields, but he's not saying that in the terms of the actual legal statements, right? Because that would be crazy. But I'm wondering if that is part of the what is it? Improper expert testimony, maybe? Yeah, maybe this part. Based on scientific, technical, and or other specialized knowledge with the scope of Rule 702 to qualify as an expert under FRE 702, the H3 Snark mods must demonstrate they are qualified as an expert on the basis of their knowledge, skill, experience, training, or education, or something or other. It continues. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy to go, I want to stay anonymous, but I also want to speak with some level of authority. That's not how this works.
for lawyers, that's on YouTube. That's the way it should be. But if you are on Reddit and you make these same claims I make, no one would even question it. Everyone just assumes it's true. But the court, the judge, is not about that life. He wants to authenticate this. But to authenticate anything these individuals have said, because
it sounds like he needs to clear his throat, but he's just choosing not to. I mean, have you ever had like a super bad like cough for a few days and it's almost like you prolapsed your throat? Like I can't cough anymore. Every time you swallow or do anything, it feels like your throat's going inside out. It's terrible. Might be where he's at right now.
Ian keeps me.
But now it's time to do what I've been meaning to do. Okay. Boo. Okay, let's do this. Gotta shake it all off. I started watching the beginning of this and I was like, I gotta save it for stream just because it's a lot. It is a bit. But let's do this, that. This is Content Cop Anisa Jomha by Nick Nobody. You're not nobody. Don't get it twisted.
Ian keeps me. This is the truth, okay? Ian keeps me on a leash, okay? And I'm okay with that because I need to be on a leash. I need to be on a leash.
It's interesting. Having it on 1.5 speed, it's like I have to hear her for less time, but I don't know if it's more annoying sped up.
Tight leash, to be honest, because I am unhinged.
What we do here is go back.
Is experimenting on 10 children to obtain a cure for thousands of kids' lives justified? That's a really hard question. Even when Lionmaker, whatever his name was accused of pedophilia, like, it gave me a lot of anxiety because I feel like a lot of it is based on a lot of fiction and not a lot of fact.
Crying in dog makeup, come on. I want to cry in dog makeup.
Commentary YouTubers have no idea what it is to work a normal job. You f***ers that are looking at this right now, I know that you would f***ing cry if I said something to you in real life. I know you would cry.
Hello, everyone.
So what if I would? So what? Why would you want to make me cry? How did you do that? It's not very nice, Anisa.
Today we're going to be covering Anisa.
I didn't know. God
Cry if I said something to you in real life. I know you would cry.
Hello, everyone.
I didn't notice this at first. She's staring at us, staring into our soul.
Today we're going to be covering Anisa Jomha, who's mostly known for being the wife of the once popular YouTuber Idubbbz. She's a vile woman who's been spewing her terrible thoughts online for the past decade now. And before we really begin, let me just make it clear, I'm not going to spend this entire video skinwalking as Ian. I've seen other people do it before, and I find it incredibly cringe. I don't need to prance around in the woods smoking cigarettes, or use a bad European accent, or even travel to Canada to find Anisa and say the N-word to her in order to criticize her like Ian did with Tana. That was Anisa's idea, by the way.
I also take ownership for the Tana. The Tana thing was my.
that was so long ago.
Was my idea. Was my stupid idea.
Instead, in my typical fashion, I will metaphorically let Anisa hang herself with her own actions like everyone else I've covered on my channel. I would just be remiss if I called this video Content Cop Anisa and didn't show up as the content cop for at least the beginning. Could you imagine a content cop video without a content cop? That would leave you feeling like Ian in the bedroom. Totally cucked. Now that I've gotten that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Anisa Jomha started her online career in 2014 when she began streaming on the website twitch.tv. Her original handle was Rainbow Kids, and she mainly streamed herself playing the game League of Legends. Anisa was originally what is known as a booby streamer. A booby streamer is a woman who exploits her breast in order to gain followers, subs, and donations, typically from a young male audience. They usually
Hey, that's disrespectful. But true.
wear things like low-cut t-shirts and push-up bras to accentuate their bodies, as they will be used as the primary focus of their streams. This phenomenon
Hey, do what makes the money. I ain't opposed to somebody chasing the bag. What can I say? Don't hate us because you ain't us. You know what I mean?
was especially popular way back before Twitch degenerated and allowed things like just chatting and hot tub streams. The live streaming website was originally a strictly gaming platform, believe it or not. Booby streamers weren't necessarily good at the games they played, but they would still generate an audience because of the obvious assets they showed off. This is exactly how Anisa would manage to become popular when she first started out, and it's what she would continue to do for a large part of her streaming career. She was initially inspired to start doing this by another female streamer who was originally a booby streamer herself named Caseytron. Caseytron started streaming in 2012, and for a while she played a satirical character of a dumb gamer girl. Anisa claims before she started her internet career, she was poor and barely scraping by. One night, she had a friend tell her about Casey making $200 from streaming on Twitch. She would see this as a potential opportunity to make some side money for groceries.
Like I was poor, like poor, like I was eating oatmeal for every meal, and then my one friend, literally, I'm not even kidding, like this.
Some people just enjoy oatmeal. Don't talk down on oatmeal.
Not a joke, Casey. You're the reason why I started streaming, because I had a friend that was
You've
like,
told me this.
Girl. Yeah, she made $200. $200. I was like, I could buy like more groceries, and so I went into debt. I like got a computer, which like not smart at all to do. I got a computer and I started streaming, and I got really lucky.
Anisa has always been the definition of a pick-me, so her decision to do this isn't surprising at all. One of the best examples of this being true goes all the way back to when she was in high school. It was here Anisa decided to play on the male lacrosse team instead of the female one in order to prove she wasn't like the other girls. She didn't get accepted onto the male team because she was extraordinarily talented or anything, but because her parents allegedly complained to the school, which seems exactly like something Anisa's mother Maureen would do. More on her very shortly. After being inspired by Caseytron, Anisa would spend the next couple of years trying her hand at booby streaming to much success. By the middle of 2016, she managed to grow her Twitch channel to over 200,000 followers. An article was even written about her on the popular gaming website Kotaku. This write-up about Anisa didn't highlight her stellar gaming abilities or anything like that, though. It actually focused on the insane fact that Anisa's mother was her head chat moderator. Anisa Jomha was a so-called booby streamer.
Yeah, this was the part where I basically stopped. I got this far in and I was just like, what? Because your mom being your mod, okay, that's one thing. But specifically when you're a booby streamer, like again, it seems a bit diminishing to women to like just like categorize them as booby streamers, but in the context it does feel like that's kind of the niche they were going for, as opposed to people who like cosplay streamers or stuff like that where they just happen to have cleavage, just happen to have being kind of it's loosely thrown in there. I don't know, it's complicated, it's a complicated conversation. Well, like I said, get that fucking bag. Do what you gotta do. You know guys would hang nuts if they could.
Until last March. Her sizable Twitch following includes ardent fans, horny dudes, toxic trolls, and an unusual chat moderator, her mother. This article details how Anisa got popular streaming as a booby streamer and even noted some of the popular type of comments she would receive in chat. One section states, in fact,
Oh, here. Fupa Troopa, sorry, a little side tangent. Fupa Troopa said, I'm a little behind. This is my favorite part of the Snark's legal defense. So go subscribe to Fupa Troopa on YouTube. H3 Snark are on record defending a literal Nazi when listing examples of Ethan harassing detractors in an effort to convince the judge to keep their anonymity, effectively likening themselves to said Nazi, all while citing a Snark post where they call a Jewish man defending his Jewish friend from anti-Semitism as a random Nazi crash out. Love that for them. Here, I wanna. Ooh. Oh no. We good? Okay. YouTube like lagged for a second. I thought everything crashed, but I think we're fine. Yeah, okay. If my identity were to be revealed, I worry that I too will be harassed publicly by Ethan and Hila and their fan base. In the past, the Klein's detractors have frequently been featured in Ethan's Instagram stories. Ethan has also featured his friends' detractors on his Instagram stories, and even gone so far as to post wedding photos of their families and friends. Bro is dressed like a mom when she is chilly. This is some of the funniest shit ever. You can't lie. But yeah, and then it's Harley posting in Oshiaga today. These two guys came up to me and called me a dirty fucking. I don't know if I say that fully, if that might get me that might get a little tick just by YouTube's AI. So I don't know if I'm trying to be a bit safer. And then went on to say more crazy stuff about Jewish people, including Hitler was right and a good guy. See, again, like, quote, I don't think it's necessarily that it'll get flagged, but I think just straight up saying these three words together, I think it might get hit with a bit of censorship or something. Yeah, this guy's fucking insane. This guy really put, I used to like Jewish people, then I met them. Two things I don't fuck with. Jews and condoms. Just a weird thing to say, but okay. Good for him, I guess. Their algorithm is gonna get me. Oh no. But back to it. Back to how Anisa's mom was watching all of her chatters be like, who knows? It was just a bunch of supportive people that loved watching her play video games. Nothing more, nothing less.
Counter on Rainbow Kid's channel estimates that her breasts have been mentioned in Twitch chat nearly 30,000 times.
Irrelevant. Sometimes the timing is just so unintentionally perfect. I didn't know that's what was going to be said next. I'll be here all week.
Until recently, Rainbow Kids wore a double push-up bra highlighting her cleavage for her audience. Viewers would pay real money to have their commentary of her read out loud, much of which was deliberately offensive. Criticisms of her body or gameplay were bolstered by targeted personal attacks meant to get a rise out of her. Variations on the word slut were a common refrain in Rainbow Kids' Twitch chat, which one day included her mother. The craziest part about this whole thing is the fact that Anisa didn't even know the person she appointed to be her head mod was her mom at first. She just liked this chatter's immense support and pseudo-janitorial work so much in the beginning that she modded them. What makes this article really funny is the fact that before it was released, Anisa was trying to claim she wasn't a booby streamer at all. I don't consider myself a titty streamer. I don't consider wearing a non-padded bra and a tank makes me one. If I ever said, yeah, I'm a titty streamer, or I'm doing this for attention in the past 2 years or so, it's sarcastic or a joke because that's how I handle rude people. Am I aware that I'm a bit bustier? Yes. Should that force me to always cover up my body? No. I don't think it should. This isn't the Middle East. This claim doesn't work when you have an entire article written about you being just that, where your own mother is quoted saying, "At first I was surprised. Maureen Jomha, 52, remembered when I spoke with her on Skype earlier this week? She's what you'd call a booby streamer, where you'd attract viewers to your stream, trolls, who come to harass or hit on female streamers." Anisa would eventually attempt to quit booby streaming in 2016 because her dad was ashamed of her.
It actually was my father that made me stop doing the titty streaming completely.
Gee, I wonder how her dad feels about her current career choices. Anisa would even try and retcon her past of booby streaming by claiming it was all an elaborate trolling scheme. This ridiculous flip-flopping narrative would turn out to be for nothing though, as she would eventually just go back to her old ways. Why did you go back to being a booby streamer? Covering up created a white knight culture I wasn't comfortable with on stream. Believe it or not, I made more money off of it, but in the end, it wasn't as fun for me. It was either quit or go back, and I decided to go back. 2016 would also be...
I feel like being a booby streamer would still... It just sounds like an insult. You would assume that doing that type of streaming would also encourage white knighting or whatever, like people coming to your defense. You don't understand. She's a nice girl. She's really sweet.
Be the year Anisa would begin her relationship with the once popular YouTuber, Idubbbz. This relationship started out as all healthy ones do, with Anisa cheating on her ex-boyfriend in order to be with Ian. That's right, before Anisa and Ian began dating, Anisa was in an active relationship with another League of Legends streamer named Acadian. Anisa and Acadian began dating around late 2015, and this relationship lasted until the first day Anisa would meet Ian. Quick side note, I've seen multiple people report on Acadian's age being 17 when he was dating Anisa, going as far as calling her a potential predator for this. Acadian was born in 1996 and began dating Anisa sometime around September 2015. Very basic math would show you that he was at least 18 years old when they began dating. I also reached out to Acadian when making my Idubbbz video to ask if there was any validity to the claims of him being 17 when he was in this relationship. He let me know that it wasn't anything like that and that he was actually 19 years old when he dated Anisa. I wanted to make sure and put this info out there as I've seen other people call Anisa a pedophile over this, and I didn't want to continue to perpetuate a false narrative. Now back to the story of how Anisa cheated on Acadian to be with Idubbbz. In 2016, this League of Legends couple would go to TwitchCon, which was located in San Diego, California. Coincidentally, this happens to be the same place Idubbbz was living at the time. Anisa originally claimed she accidentally booked an extra day of her trip and was left all alone once TwitchCon ended, despite sharing a room with Acadian.
Why can you not stop lying? Please stop lying!
She decided she wanted to spend this extra day with Idubbbz, who she messaged asking if he wanted to hang out.
How did you and Ian meet? I was in San Diego for TwitchCon, and I, being an idiot, accidentally booked a extra night and an extra day in San Diego. So TwitchCon was over, everybody was gone, and I was stuck in the hotel alone with nothing to do. And I was on my Twitter feed, and it was when Ian was just spamming his Twitter feed with something about Leafy and Max Mofo backstabbing him like as a meme. And he was just like, it was like tweet after tweet after tweet. So I was like, okay, this individual's bored. I know he lives in San Diego. Maybe he wants to hang out because anything's better than like sitting in this hotel all day. So we ended up messaging each other, and he was like, oh, do you want to go and eat? And I was like, sure, just whatever. I just don't want to be in this hotel room anymore.
She goes on to describe their date of going to a taco shop where the two would awkwardly interact until Ian took her back to the hotel. Anisa didn't think anything would come from this interaction, but surprisingly, they would continue to talk from this day forward.
So when he got home, I guess he was fighting with himself whether to text me or not because he thought that it was like completely done. But he decided to message me anyways, and he said, hey, I made it home safe. And the amount of relief that I was like, holy shit, this human is still talking to me, it was unbelievable. We didn't stop talking. That whole night we talked until we fell asleep, and then ever since then we've just been pretty much inseparable.
Doing all of this while having a boyfriend is crazy work. This wouldn't last long though, as Acadian would tweet out weeks later, rolling on the floor laughing, what the fuck, I actually hate girls, alluding to the pair breaking up. Anisa cheating on him clearly affected him mentally, as he would also tweet on the same day, probably won't be streaming/active for a while until I get back to a good place mentally. Sorry guys. A week after this, he posted a now deleted vlog where he continued to vaguely discuss the breakup and how it was making him feel.
I would say like right now, in terms of like mentally, I'm not like in the best state. I can't really explain, but I'm just like, I don't know, like I don't know if any of you guys can like resonate with me or like feel me on this, but I'm just fucking pissed off all the time. Like I'm just angry, like every day. As soon as I wake up, like I'm just fucking angry, and I don't know how to stop being it. Like the only thing I can do is just distract myself with like League of Legends or doing shit like.
Anisa would eventually be called out for cheating on Acadian, which she would deny. She would then conveniently change her original story and added in a new detail that her relationship with Acadian was actually really bad and they didn't get along very much. Because of this, she wanted to get away from him the day after TwitchCon, so that's why she went to hang out with Idubbbz, and Acadian apparently knew this all along.
And when we were at TwitchCon, I accidentally booked an extra flight and an extra day.
Why can you not stop lying?
And Matt was there. Like we just had an extra day and an extra whatever. And I was talking to Ian, and Matt knew that I was talking to Ian, and I said to him, I said, do you mind if I go hang out with Ian or Idubbbz or whatever, because we have this extra day and I don't want to be in the same fucking room as you.
Anisa would never admit to cheating on Acadian, even though her anniversary with Ian is on the exact same day she admits to breaking up with Acadian in Discord message leaks we will be covering later on in this video. You guys, Anisa would never cheat because she thinks cheating is wrong.
There is never a valid excuse for cheating. Never, ever, ever does somebody have a valid excuse for cheating.
Projection at its finest. Anisa is a hypocrite, and she has a habit of constantly contradicting herself. One of the easiest examples of this to point to around this time comes from a storytime video she made promoting body positivity in the gym. She claims she overheard two women in the gym making rude comments about an overweight person trying to work out. She then goes on a long-winded diatribe about how fat shaming is wrong and people should never do it.
It actually blew my mind that this was coming out of their mouths. Any bit of disgusting that they thought this woman was.
I was also thinking the bob does not work for her, and specifically this clip, it's not a good look. It's not. No offense.
In the gym. She claims she overheard two women in the gym making rude comments do it.
It actually blew my mind that this was coming out of their mouths. Any bit of disgusting that they thought this woman was. if they would just look in the mirror or hear what they were saying, like, that is a million times more disgusting than any fucking abomination I can even dream up. And I'm just sitting there flabbergasted at the idea that there's these two women actually ridiculing somebody who has the balls to get up and go to the gym and deal with the shitty people like them and still come back and better themselves.
Anisa fails to take her own advice, though, because after she made these statements, she would go on to fat shame other women on her live streams.
I'm surprised that she gets less hate than that whale, the leather wearing, Amy Schumer.
I'm surprised that car can hold up on that. The crash test rating on that car must be amazing. It's nice to know that the car can handle that kind of weight without denting. To our knowledge, it might have dented, actually, who knows.
A similar phenomenon would happen when Anisa would make a video explaining her struggles with an eating disorder and body dysmorphia. Gotta earn those sympathy points. You would think someone who claims to be suffering from these things wouldn't go out of their way to insult others who are also struggling with similar eating disorders, but Anisa did just that. She would react to another content creator named Venus Angelic, who made a video describing her struggles with her own eating disorder.
I mean, to be fair to Anisa in this one instance, I think some people do deal with their own issues through joking about it, so they joke about it, push it onto other people too. It doesn't necessarily mean it's good or that you should do it, but I don't know, it does happen, so.
Anisa couldn't stop herself from doubting, insulting, and making fun of this woman for her situation.
If you ask me how I got to the point, it is because I couldn't drink or eat anything. So I still tried to eat or drink, but I puked out anything I ate. Not because I wanted to, but because I couldn't keep it in my stomach. I puked about 10 to 15 times a day for about an entire month. So
what the fuck? You'd be dead! You would be dead! If you puked 10 times a day for a month, you would be dead!
Okay, never mind. What I was imagining was much more like playful jabbing. I keep trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, and then she just fucking completely sidelines it. I was not expecting her to just completely dismiss what this person was saying. My God. Actually, one of these. She actually deserves one of those. That's what's going on inside her head.
She would be like, that's a lie. There's no way you can put that. That's a month. That's not real. Yeah, there's no way.
that gets you kind of dehydrated.
Let me just read the comments. Oh my God, that's actually brutal. Are you done? Where's the excuse me, human, but you cannot. Nobody's saying anything about the fact that you can't. All right. Well, let's just keep watching this perfectly sane human.
As you can see, Anisa's streams are a bountiful source of horrendous takes and needless shit-talking. This would lead her to get involved in many petty dramas with a handful of different creators. One of the most notable dramas happened after the YouTuber Pyrocynical made a video criticizing booby streamers. Anisa wasn't someone called out in this video, but she still couldn't stop herself from making comments on it.
Gaming section. I mean, you just see with this clip, look how small the screen is for the game. Jesus. I know that mentality that's been said before, don't like it, don't watch it. The problem is, we're bringing a lot of kids onto the
Why do people always make that argument? Like, there's no way when she's playing the actual game that it's that size. Like, what the hell is that? What is that? Everybody always makes that point, like it's fact that if the screen is small in the section that they show in the video, that that's how the game screen is the whole time.
Anisa tried to delete this spurg out so she wouldn't get clipped, but her efforts were futile.
Of what I said about Pyro, I'm just not in the mood for it. People seem to all of a sudden care what my opinion on it is. I can already see the headline now. Idubbbz girlfriend says mean things about Pyrocynical in her stream, and I'm just not in the mood for it, so I already fucking deleted it. So good luck clipping that, you bitch.
A more back and forth drama would happen shortly after this with the IRL live streamer Ice Poseidon. This started after Anisa decided to make comments about Ice and his content.
Captain with the mustache is one mullet away from being a soy bread tuber. I'm one mullet away from being a soy bread tuber and one badge away from I won't make the joke. It was about to go a little too far, but we're okay. Cut it short, and Anisa is an expert on everything. I think she might be pathological, and Ian is just not that smart. Yeah. The thing is, even if she isn't presenting herself as an expert, she speaks with an air of authority, but also with a high level of condescension, so it doesn't, because you know what I mean, some people It's the difference between demanding authority and commanding authority. It's like some people command authority in which you just kind of you feel this you feel the power or whatever. But then there are people that are just too forceful with the way that they speak, and it just comes off as abrasive.
On her stream one night, a chatter asked her what her opinion of Ice was, and she would explain why she dislikes him. She would also call his content lazy and exploitative, which is ironic seeing her content is just as lazy and exploitative, if not more so.
Ice Poseidon is successful not because he is intelligent or hardworking. Ice Poseidon is successful because he figured out that he could exploit his douchebaggery and overall laziness and scumminess to make money off of people. That's my opinion on Ice Poseidon. I'm not a fan of him. I do not enjoy his YouTube videos. I don't enjoy his live streams. I cringe at when...
Mine is finally coming in after 3 years of HRT, but it's very light because I'm blonde. Shout out, welcome to Stash Gang. Stash fam.
He said to that woman that he's famous. I don't enjoy him. I don't like him.
This clip would go somewhat viral, and eventually Ice himself would see it. He decided to respond to Anisa in quite a hilarious fashion.
Let me this. All right, I don't know who the fuck she is. Apparently, Idubbbz' girlfriend. I don't even know who the fuck she is. My laziness. Listen. I was reading the comments. I've never watched your fucking stream. Apparently, you're a fucking titty streamer. How can you tell me I'm lazy if you're sitting down in a motherfucking chair being a titty streamer? Listen, I don't need your shit. Okay, you're talking about me being an asshole to people. Stop being a fucking triggered motherfucker. Who gives a shit? That's my 2 points right there. I mean, I don't really have to continue anymore. If you're a titty streamer, you automatically lose the argument there. I mean, there's nothing for you to say like other than that. So
this drama would only become more amplified.
Like, I know I can't talk too much about a background. Like, I don't have a background. But what is this? It looks like he's just in the corner of his room. I'll also never understand people that are like in a corner like this. So the back of his desk is like open to the rest of the room. I don't know. I don't like that. There's something about it. It's not very feng shui.
You automatically lose the argument there. I mean, there's nothing for you to say like other than that. So
this drama would only become more amplified after the YouTuber Keemstar made a drama alert video covering the back and forth, which garnered over 1.3 million views. If Anisa wasn't getting into petty dramas with other content creators, she was outright saying ignorant things that would often get her in trouble. The most egregious example of this comes from the time Anisa decided to defend the human experiments conducted by the Nazis in concentration camps. Yes, Anisa actually tried to justify the senseless torture of innocent people.
Is experimenting on 10 children to obtain a cure for thousands of kids' lives justified? That's a really hard question, and I think if people are being 100...
See, I think that they kind of do testing on terminal kids, right? That's like where they give them like experimental drugs and shit. I don't think many people are against that part, right?
100% honest, they give you a different answer than what you're expecting. As terrible as the Holocaust was, obviously...
Yeah, I don't know why she needs to bring that up into it, right? That's not even the question they asked at all. Like, that's completely irrelevant to the topic at hand. Like, they were basically asking, like, a version of the trolley problem. My favorite iteration of the trolley problem is the rotund man. Everyone knows the trolley problem. Would you pull the lever to divert a train so that it runs over one person if it meant that it would save the lives of 5? And it's basically, would you rather let 5 people die and do nothing, or do something and intentionally kill one person? But the rotund man iteration is, instead of you not necessarily having like a full an effect on the death, it's the train doing the actual killing. Some people do not think about like the train killing the person as them having a hand in it. So the rotund man is, instead, you push a large man off of a bridge onto the train tracks, and this throws the train off the tracks, stopping it from killing the 5 people. But you have the blood on your hands now from pushing them off. Do you do it? Will you? It's just a guy eating an ice cream cone. It's a guy eating an ice cream cone. He's bigger, and you know if you push him, that train it'll stop. Do you do it?
It was horrendous, and how disgusting the doctor was that did the experiments on people. It was gay people, handicaps, twins. I think that's and obviously they're obviously Jewish, or they did it on Jewish people. They found.
Ever seen that video of the philosophy YouTuber taking these trolley problem memes seriously for funsies? If you're talking about the Alex O'Connor one, yes. I'm a big Alex O'Connor fan. He was recently on Matan Evans. Can I trick him into falling by knocking the ice cream down there? I hadn't thought about that. You knock the ice cream out of his hand, he goes, no, and he jumps after it. You know, you're thinking outside of the box.
A couple of really groundbreaking discoveries through that experimentation.
There were no...
I just love it because it's just so fucking stupid. We tied to if you sew two twins together, they die. Let's just inject chemicals into people's veins and see what happens. Oh, that's so fucking advanced. That's such advanced science. Like, it's so dumb.
I think that's, and obviously they're obviously Jewish, or they did it on Jewish people. They found a couple of really groundbreaking discoveries through that experimentation.
There were no groundbreaking discoveries that came from the human experiments conducted by the Nazis. A Google search that takes less than 10 seconds to do will show you that Anisa's take is profoundly untrue. There was no scientific method followed during these human experiments, and the notes recovered from them amounted to scribbled gibberish. These experiments were nothing more than a sick way to torture people under the guise of science. Anisa would eventually walk this take back years later once it resurfaced and blew up in her face. She wouldn't apologize for the statement she made, but instead claims she was only parroting talking points she heard in a college lecture that she thought sounded smart, which is pretty insane. The same year as her pro-Nazi take, Anisa would also defend the pedophile YouTuber named Lionmaker. Lionmaker was a former Minecraft content creator who was arrested in 2016 for a variety of different charges, which included possession and distribution of CSAM materials. This guy was caught talking to multiple minors and soliciting nudes from them, some of which he posted on his own Twitter at one point. He even admitted to all of this in an interview conducted by the YouTuber Colossal is Crazy and eventually went to jail for his crimes. This was a wildly popular story that Anisa somehow didn't know about, yet she still chose to ignorantly run to Lionmaker's defense because she doesn't like when people are criticized online.
I don't like when people go in and rip a content creator apart like that, no matter what like really happens. It gives me anxiety. Like, even if it is like I'm no matter like how serious it is, right? Like, even when Lionmaker or whatever his name was accused of pedophilia, like, it gave me a lot of anxiety because I feel like a lot of it is based on a lot of fiction and not a lot of fact. And like, if the person really isn't as bad as what people think it is, which most of the time they're not, then you're just watching people rip apart somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it as much as, like, I don't know. It's just sad seeing somebody get ripped apart that hard. Yeah, Leafy was one of them. That was hard to watch getting ripped apart. Yeah, I haven't seen it, Googles, but I mean, I believe you, but I don't know it, like, again.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, Goebbels. Just more of her Nazi stuff. She's.
It's like, I haven't seen it, Googles, but yeah, Leafy was one of them. That was hard to watch getting ripped apart. Yeah.
Why, that's also a stupid point. Why was Leafy hard to watch getting ripped apart? You should have a stance based upon the actual, like, the criticisms made, yes, but that, like, their veracity. Are they actually valid, not just how much of the criticism is being levied? Like, that seems so dumb to just only care that it's a lot. You're getting a lot of shit thrown their way. Well, maybe they deserve it. What did they do? Figure that part out first. No matter how... I guess it doesn't even care. She doesn't care how bad it is, because she said no matter how bad it is. Even pedophilia. It's a trickle-down effect. You'll be coming for me next. It's like, what? I don't understand what her thought process is. Like, I don't care. Make fun of the pedophile. Get mad at him. Call him a pedophile over and over again. If it's true. But if the statements are unfounded, then yeah, then we can have a conversation about people's willingness to jump on the bandwagon and you know, the conversation now about snark communities and the formation of those and what happens. You know, like there are valid conversations to have, but it doesn't seem like you're the person to be able to have them, like, ever.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, Googles, but I mean, I believe you, but I don't know it, like, again, it's like, that's... YouTube videos are okay, let me put it this way. YouTube videos are never sincere.
Well, Lionmaker went to jail for pedophilia.
I urge everyone to check out Colossal is Crazy's interview with Lion Maker. It's surreal.
Yeah, I mean, and he went to jail, and then he deserved to go to jail, like, which is whatever.
Anisa being horrendously misinformed but confidently over-opinionated will be a common theme throughout this video. You'll also notice that after Anisa's comments on Lion Maker, she would go on to claim it was hard to watch the internet go after Leafy too.
Yeah, Leafy was one of them. That was hard to watch getting ripped apart.
This is incredibly rich, seeing the fact that her own boyfriend, Idubbbz, was the main person leading the charge with his Content Cop Leafy video that ended up garnering over 31 million views. She would even tweet at Leafy after the Content Cop on him was dropped. I'm actually sad to hear Leafy is taking a
Gables. Jables, like, Jack Black. Goebbels? Goebbels? Goebbels. Did I say Goebbels? Gerber baby. Goebbels. Gables. Why are you just saying that? I think she said Googles? Googies? What did she say? She's not talking about the Googie aesthetic. Oh.
break.
Is it Google? Is it Goebbels? I'm saying Goobles. Is it
always had a soft spot for you, dude. Hope all is well. Again, her boyfriend is literally the reason behind him taking a break. Anisa's sympathy towards Leafy absolutely makes sense when you consider the fact that she had a crush on him before she started dating Idubbbz. And there's plenty of things that point to this claim being true. Starting with her tweets to and about Leafy, the first one being a reply to a tweet saying, "Real question, who wants to fuck Leafy tonight? Nashville, genuine offer." Anisa replied, "I thought you would never ask." She also tweeted out several more things like, "At Leafy, why am I never in your videos? Do I need to lower the cost of money to get me to bend over?" And, "At Leafy, I will shield you from the storm with my breasts, my son." Anisa even got excited and hoped Leafy would talk about her when he made a video bashing booby streamers.
I haven't watched it yet. Actually, I haven't watched it at all, but apparently Leafy, I don't know if it's true or not, because Leafy's never put me in one of these videos. It always kind of made me sad. But apparently this one he finally did. So, let us see.
To her severe disappointment, he didn't talk about her. Anisa being attracted to other men is a common trope when she's in a relationship. Leafy isn't the only man she's had a crush on while she's been dating Idubbbz. Another man Anisa had a crush on around this time was named Chris Raygun. Chris Raygun is a YouTuber with over 500,000 subscribers and was most popular around the same time as Idubbbz in 2016. Anisa has been friends with Chris for quite some time, with Chris making occasional appearances on her Twitch streams back in 2017. On these streams, Anisa would awkwardly interact with Chris and ask him about things like his sex life.
What's the weirdest thing you've ever done in the bed? I've had sex in an elevator before. Have you had sex in an elevator before?
Not in an elevator. No. I don't have to, well, that's not in bed then, is it?
I mean, that's still like...
I don't know.
Asking, like, you know... From
I mean, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know if I could really...
Do you not have anything? Chris is lame.
No,
Wait, you've had sex in a dressing room before, haven't you?
Yeah, that's not weird, is it?
I've never done that.
I wouldn't disqualify it as weird, though. It's like...
I shoved a dildo in my ex-boyfriend's ass once.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
and yeah, it was because
sex standing up is overrated.
Well, I mean, I think we can imagine what it was because of. I mean, you don't need to go into any more detail.
What are you talking about?
Chris was dating a woman named Lacey Green when Anisa would ask him these kind of things, and Anisa knew that. She wasn't a fan of this fact and would make it painfully obvious on other streams where she calls Lacey a cunt and gives Chris the backhanded compliment that she would make a good porn star.
Like, I'm just saying, it's like, you know, that's what you look. She would make a good porn star. Lacey would make a good porn star.
Thanks.
Outside of these streams, Anisa would also travel to New York where she would spend time with Chris and film a vlog. The pair spent the day together, went on a dinner date, and even streamed together later that evening, all while being in a relationship with Idubbbz. Anisa would also show her romantic interest on Chris on Twitter where she tweeted out a shirtless photo of him with the caption full of thirsting and squirt emojis. She also replied to a tweet from Chris that showcased a lipstick kiss mark on a note, claiming that it was left by her. Again, Anisa was dating Ian while she was doing all of this, which just makes...
Yo. Bruh. You know, I've never stood by all the people calling Idubbbz a cuck and all that, but like, you can't stand for this. It's terrible, bro. You can't let that happen to you. Come on. Ugh, that's just like... Because it's one thing to cheat. It's one thing to have your girlfriend cheat on you. It's another thing to have your girlfriend swooning over other men, like, or vice versa, having your man swoon over other women or other men, or all around. Just not just. I don't think cheating is the worst. I think having your partner like genuinely be like so invested into somebody is like, oh god, that's so bad. I haven't cringed that hard in a while. That got me.
makes him look so pathetic. The writing really was on the wall for him all the way back then. All of these controversies that I have covered happened in 2017. This is the same year Anisa's Discord server would leak onto Reddit, revealing some insane things, like her bad-mouthing Idubbbz to her viewers and even discussing potential breakups with him. Anisa would treat the simps that congregated in her Discord like digital therapists and unnecessarily unloaded all sorts of emotional baggage inside this server. Here you can see Anisa talking about breaking up with Idubbbz. I think I'm breaking up with Ian. After our first relationship scare and our last trip.
See, calling him a cuck is just crazy disrespectful for sure. But it's just like, on a certain, it's like almost like a question, like, do you want to be a cuck, bro? You can't be letting yourself get treated like this. If you want it, like, that's you. Live your best life. Some guys are into that. Hey, if that's what you want, you and your missus and your bull, have fun. Do what you're gonna do. But I think the biggest problem is always the insecurity, and I think Ian is just leaking insecurity.
I was a lot better and Ian seemed happier, but after I left, it seemed like Ian's opinions on things didn't change much. He hasn't called me in 4 days and we have barely talked. He's at PewDiePie's house. He said, I will call you with my answer when I get back, so about 2 to 3 hours. But I think I'm finally right for putting my foot down. He can't have you waiting around the corner. Even his sister called me and said, hey, he's not treating you right and he needs to learn some hard lessons. Put yourself first. I don't know why he needs 2 to 3 hours though. I had hoped you wouldn't get back together like last time, just saying. I have no idea what's going on in his head. I'm just so sick of the emotional shit I go through and he seems fine. He legit hasn't called me in 4 days. Listen to your guts. And when I called upset, he's like, oh yeah, I guess there were times I could have called. I just feel like a loser. Out of sight, out of mind. A thing to remember is that some people deal with shit by themselves and only by themselves. They deal with it with thought, not communication. Yeah, but for a healthy relationship to work, you need to talk. In another leak, you can see Anisa talking about how Ian would never defend her, but her crush, Chris Ray Gun, definitely would. Lol, yeah, somehow. You think Ian is the main boss? Even though Ian would never publicly defend me, even if you threw acid on his skinned alive body. Maybe, but he's probably too pussy. Anisa is the final boss of this game. And Chris would stick up for me, sure, but like, Anisa would even reveal personal details about her relationship with Idubbbz, like the time he peed on her in the shower. I showered with Ian when he was here and he peed on my leg and thought it was funny. Very cool. I definitely wanted to.
Was that before or after he drank his own piss? He's just testing it out. He's seeing That's crazy. Hey man, enjoy your own water sports. Don't force it upon your girlfriend. They really were like a match made in heaven. They're perfect for each other.
To know that. If Anisa wasn't discussing her relationship, then she would be talking about how her content sucks, and she knows it. The more I upload, the more subs I lose. Sub glitch all over again. Nah, I think that people are just watching and unsubbing. I blame YouTube. Nah, it's me. It has to be me. I'm not growing. It's the opposite after a month of consistent uploads. That's a clear sign I need to go back to school or get a job. There's also a leak that shows Anisa talking about her ethnicity.
Imagine being this parasocial about someone's relationship you've never met. This Discord kid's be freaks. You know, yeah, I do think it's weird. I also think it's weird that they're like responding so often. Like obviously this is in the past, so maybe these were more like personal connections that they had developed or something. I don't know. But she seems active in it, which I don't know. As a creator, you should probably take a bit of a step back from.
She claims that she's 50% Irish, 25% Italian, and only 8% Arab. While this seems like a strange and trivial thing to mention, this actually is important to note because in the current day and age, Anisa cosplays as a Muslim for political brownie points even though she's only 8% Arab, and she renounced her faith in 2020.
Telling my dad that I'm not Muslim was probably the hardest thing that I've ever done in my whole entire life. At 16 years old, I sat my dad down and I had a talk with him, basically telling him that I no longer wanted to be a part of Islam. I didn't want to be Muslim anymore, and I just wanted to be agnostic or spiritual, I don't really know what the word is, and he did not take it fantastic.
Anisa's Discord echo chamber of simps will never actually criticize her, so that's why she feels so safe divulging all of this personal information to them. Thankfully, all of these Discord leaks would be archived on the Kiwi Farms after Anisa's Reddit page was taken down. In 2018, Anisa, for some wild reason, agreed to debate the controversial YouTuber known as Vegan Gains on the topic of veganism. Vegan Gains is a vegan content creator, if that's not obvious enough, and he gained popularity for his debates and mockery of non-vegan online personalities. He is also known for saying some truly insane things.
I fucking hate children. They literally make me sick. When I see baby.
See, I think I can agree with every argument against factory farming. And maybe even just like general farming practices. But the actual like argument against just eating meat in general, I don't understand. Because like I understand the fact that we don't need to be eating as much meat as we do, especially in like places like the US. and the like how many animals that are basically just wasted is terrible. But if we were talking about like just like a general sense of like if we had like hunter gatherers still, I don't think there's an issue with eating an animal as long as you use it for that purpose and pay some respects. You know, use the full carcass for whatever purpose. And honestly, after reading up more about different Native American cultures, the idea of like animism and everything having a soul, it kind of all it makes so much more sense to me now. Like the idea of different cultures like participating in like certain acts of like cannibalism and stuff too, but then their usage of animals and the way that they would treat animals, and it like everything was like done with a level of respect because of this thought of everything carrying some type of a soul. Very interesting stuff. She said she has a how do I say it? Kinesiology degree, which I doubt because I also have that degree, and she says some wildly inaccurate shit about the body a lot. Vegan Gains W. Vegan Gains, what a throwback. He's actually apparently, I don't know if he is a lot right now, but for a while he would be on and off with like Destiny. He's part of like the Destiny orbit, which is kind of funny. I'm telling you, for some reason, Destiny is like he's like the background character in every show. Where you're like, I've seen that guy in like 7 different shows. It's always Destiny. I love meat, but I hardly get to enjoy it. It's a treat, and it's not going to be some cheap-ass factory meat. No. Yeah, and that's kind of how it should be, and that's what we should be working towards. You should work towards your own farming. Create your own homestead. Do it by yourself. Oh, she doesn't have I'm going to say it wrong again, kinesiology degree. She has a kinesiology background, saying it different every time I say it. That way it kind of like, you never know what word it is.
Babies in a commercial, I start to gag and almost throw up, and I have to look away and mute it. And when I say babies in a stroller, especially when they're crying, I just want to put my foot through the fucking thing and step on it until it's nothing but blood and pulp on the fucking pavement!
This is not the version of Vegan Gains that Anisa debated, though. Instead, he was mostly calm and collected. He presented—
Well, it's... Is that what she was expecting in the debate? He does that because it's like PETA. PETA they fucking euthanize like 80% of the animals they say they save. They euthanize like a fuck ton of animals. But then they say all this stuff to make you feel bad. They fucking cover themselves in plastic up on the road and put fake blood all over it to make it look like they're a piece of packaged meat. It's like it's inflammatory for a reason. That's the whole point. But in an actual conversation, he's going to actually hit you with like facts and logic. Especially because it does seem like he is part of like the debate sphere. Like I wouldn't debate him. I might feel a certain way about veganism or vegetarianism or just eating meat in general. I don't feel a way about veganism or vegetarianism. That's not the right way to say it. Because I do think that it's fine if that's something that you want to do, and that's something that you want to encourage others to do too. I think that's perfectly fine. But I also believe that people have like people have the right to eat what they want to eat, including each other. Kidding. But I definitely wouldn't debate Vegan Gains on the topic because I can barely even articulate what I'm saying right now. Yeah, PETA doesn't believe in practices like trap, neuter, return, only euthanasia. Yeah, Peter gets mad when an animal is killed and not by them. Real talk.
His arguments clearly and backed them up with studies and evidence. Anisa, on the other hand, was not nearly as prepared. She relied on her pre-existing knowledge of veganism and mostly argued based off her personal feelings to try and debunk what Vegan Gains was saying.
I feel like, because I feel like I feel like I've been told, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I just feel like it, but I feel like a lot of the shit because I feel like
This conversation surprisingly lasted almost 3 hours before Anisa would get frustrated and rage quit the call. She claims Vegan Gains was speaking aggressively towards her throughout this debate, but I watched a decent chunk of it and he really wasn't.
I get it. We have different opinions. It's not going to change. Clearly, I'm too stupid to understand what you're saying.
No.
Like I'm just fully.
You're not too stupid.
Like we're good.
Look, I think you're getting upset and a little too emotionally invested into this. And
I'm just really tired. Like that's
okay. Well, look, when
I'm sleepy. Get over yourself. You think you're a competitive debater? I'm tired. I need to take a nap. It's my nap time.
I'm just fully.
You're not too stupid.
Like we're good.
Look, I think you're getting upset and a little too emotionally invested into this. And
I'm just really tired. Like that's
okay. Well, look, when you're complaining that I'm pointing out logical fallacy,
I'm grumpy. It's like talking to your kid. I think you need to take a nap. No. I'm tired, but I don't want to go to sleep.
That you're making, that sounds to me like you're uncomfortable with me actually making arguments.
We're good. That's I'm so at that point. If this is your view of winning, which is talking very aggressively for a period of time, very confident, you've won, man. Like
I've made arguments. Well, no, I've made arguments and presented evidence. You haven't. So yes, I have won on that basis alone.
Well, then there you go.
Okay, so you agree that you don't have any evidence for your claims and your arguments are completely logically inconsistent? Look, if you don't agree on that, I want to continue this conversation. I don't want to misrepresent your views. I actually am interested in having an honest conversation about this.
Yeah, I'm done.
After this debate happened, Anisa would somehow walk away feeling like she won. She would later go on to her stream where she accused Vegan Gains of being a dishonest liar while her chat reinforced the idea that she won the debate. Anisa would also DM Vegan Gains claiming that if he continued to criticize her, that he was encouraging his audience to swat her, which is just delusional. So Anisa Jomha is trying to claim that I should no longer criticize her or challenge any of her fans to debate because that will encourage swatting. Ridiculous statement. It sounds to me like she just can't handle logical criticism of her position. A few days after the
Honestly, he should have thought in the moment, and because he could have just flipped that back into her face and been like, so I believe that her statements that she made after our debate is only to encourage this type of behavior as well, or just something along those lines, because like you could basically say the same thing about her making this secondary video where she was claiming that she won and like, you know, bullshitting.
The debate, Anisa would tweet out this: I hope there is a day where I can do something and someone chooses to criticize me without including my significant other. I make myself quite independent, especially.
You don't want to argue about veganism with a guy named Vegan Gains. He might beat my ass, not gonna lie. He might knock my head off my shoulders.
Especially online, and I just crave the day people criticize me and only me for my actions. Be mean, I don't care, but focus on me. This is a crazy statement because criticizing her without mentioning Idubbbz is not a hard thing to do. I've done it for the entirety of this video so far, and I haven't criticized her because she's Idubbbz's girlfriend. I've criticized her purely for the things she said and done on her own. 2 months after this tweet, the YouTuber Brittany Venti would drop an hour-long video documenting all the things Anisa has done up until this point. It saw massive success, gaining over 700,000 views since it's been posted. Anisa would do her best to avoid talking about this at all cost. She already knew her streaming career was dying, and this video exposing her only drove home that point. I already showed you in her Discord messages she was complaining about her channel stats and people not being interested in her. It got to the point by the end of 2018, she was crying on stream over the fact that nobody wants to watch her anymore.
I think that over the years, you guys, like, some of you guys have been here for so long, so I just feel like I'm...
What the fuck is this? Is she supposed to be a dog? What is this?
I'm talking to people who care, so sorry, you're getting gay. I'm crying in dog makeup. Come on.
Okay, she is supposed to. Okay, that's what I thought. I was like, she's supposed to be like a Saint Bernard or something.
And how to cry in dog makeup. So stupid.
Anisa's numbers would only continue to fall going into 2019. By this point, she was struggling to maintain 100 viewers per stream, and she was constantly taking breaks to pursue other career paths like selling her poorly traced art on Etsy or becoming a popular TikToker. Anything but putting the fries in the bag, I guess. Anisa would concoct a plan towards the end of 2019 as a last-ditch effort to save her career. She would claim on her stream one night that her boyfriend Idubbbz was going to be paying for the boob job she was planning on getting soon. She would further explain that Ian is paying for this boob job as a birthday present, and she doesn't care what people she's not having sex with have to say about it. If you aren't familiar with this story, you might be wondering, Nick, how would a boob job...
You know what's interesting? I've said this before, and I think that this is my most conservative position, but for the most progressive reason. And I would say that I am against people getting affirmative care in an aesthetic way and for aesthetic purposes, because your parts don't make your being. Having a penis doesn't make you any less feminine. Having boobs doesn't make you any less masculine. And outside of like actual medical necessity, like like breast reduction for like to prevent back injury and stuff. Like there are obviously like things that require surgery, but I think that we should do our best to help people become how they want to be. But remember that doesn't require being any different than how you are. Present how you love. Boobs, yes. My breasts thank you, yes. My breasts thank me too. No, I'm not against gender affirming care. I just think that in the terms of encouragement, I would probably be like quicker to talk to like somebody about their inner beauty and like the like innateness of their masculinity or femininity. But if they feel like that was just what would be the easiest way for them to express themselves in that way, then obviously I'm not against it. That would be ridiculous. Maybe I made it sound bad by saying it's my most conservative view when I prefaced it like that. I would hate to feel trapped in the body I didn't feel right, so gender affirming care for anyone. Yeah, I understand that, but I just think about others, not even in the sense of like people that are transgender, like even like cisgender women that want to get like a huge boob job because they think that it'll make them more beautiful or something. Like it's unnecessary on some level. Obviously, if it's helping you feel closer to what you want to be, that's obviously a good thing, but I think that there are limitations to that as well, because like at a certain point it does cause other risks to you when you have an overabundance of cosmetic surgeries. I needed my mastectomy. I would have been dead if I hadn't. Not hyperbolic. And that's kind of what I'm saying, is obviously there are circumstances where it's quite literally just like that's the medical necessity. But I do think the conversation is probably a good one to have prior, because there are some people that just feel inadequate. You know what I mean? And that's the difference between like true gender dysphoria and just a feeling of inadequacy. And like I feel like that's kind of the conversation that I'm talking about, maybe. Yeah, and I guess that's kind of the counter to it too. That's the easiest counter. If we didn't live in a society that enforced the gender binary, I could understand that. And I guess my point is kind of like in a perfect world. Some guys get gyno from using finasteride and end up needing a mastectomy. I mean, some guys are just born with gyno. I think I have mild gyno. I have very, or actually, I don't think it's weird. It's not gyno. I just have very puffy nipples. And that's kind of like something that I'm saying. I don't think that it's something that I've had issues with throughout my entire life that's made me feel inadequate in certain ways. But I wouldn't get surgery on my nipples. I did think for like a short period of time, like, what if I just got my nipples removed? But thinking about it just cosmetically, I mean, one, it would cost money, and just for a cosmetic purpose, I could just learn to love my nipples. Any chance we can see the puffy nips? Maybe one day. My nips have always been my biggest insecurity too. It happens. Touchy subject for me because of medical trauma, and I'm sorry if I'm making you feel any type of way. That's not my intention at all. I'm more so just talking about like what I was saying before. I'm more so talking about individuals who are just feeling a sense of inadequacy outside of what would be like gender dysphoria and stuff that would be what I was saying, like medical necessity. I guess I didn't outline that when I was saying, because when I was talking, I was talking about like, because when I always think of like medical necessity, I guess my first thought is like when people talk about, like, oh, they're giving gender affirming care to children, and it's like, you mean like when they give like girls who have like whose breasts grow too large and they give them a breast reduction, stuff like that. Like, we're not against it, like nobody's against it wholly. It is all just about like the lines that people want to draw in the sand. And that's why I think that there is like a I think the society definitely needs to change before we can have some kind of like overarching change. Like, and that's why the medical industry kind of needs to have the standard where it's kind of okay for all, and then have those questions societally about what is like personally necessary. I guess that's kind of the point I'm making. I'm not talking about, I'm sorry if at any point I made it seem like I was saying governmentally it should be taken away or anything. That is completely not what I meant. Damn, I'm realizing that might have been how it was coming across. That is not what I meant at all. Yes, bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. They're about the worry and your strife. Bare necessities. See, I used to have one innie nip and one outie. Now they both out and about the town. See, mine. What I've always said is it's like this. Everybody always talks about like, oh, pepperoni nipples. Oh, they have pepperoni nips. This and that. Mine, I feel like look like the end of a pepperoni. It's like a perfect representation. Like just right there. Like if you just... Oh god, wait. Oh, zoom in more. Like if you're just... zoom in way too much. But it goes out to the end. If that makes sense. But I don't think it's legitimate gyno because I don't have any actual like hard... forget what it is. I don't know if it's cartilage that builds up. I don't know. I don't think it's cartilage. I forget what it is. But there's actual like tissue that builds up or something when you have like legitimate gyno, and that's like what people get surgeries for. I used to have my nips pierced, but they've never healed properly. I don't think I could get my nipple pierced because of it. Yeah, no hard boobage. Someone AI it real quick. There you go.
Save Anisa's career.
Back to it. Sorry, nipple talk. But back to boob job talk with Anisa. Sorry to go on a weird tangent. Unnecessary conversation, but now you know about my nipples. Lucky you.
having sex with have to say about it. If you aren't familiar with this story, you might be wondering, Nick, how would a boob job save Anisa's career? Well, in 2020, just a few months after discussing this potential operation on stream, she would announce she is officially launching an OnlyFans. That's right, her final desperate attempt to maintain relevancy online was going to come from her selling naked pictures of herself to the small group of remaining simps that have stuck around for the last 5 years. The OnlyFans announcement would cause an online stir and become quite the controversy, not so much for Anisa, but for her significant other Idubbbz. This would mark the moment where Anisa starts to burn Ian's career because she really has nothing left to burn of her own. And I've done my best to avoid talking about Idubbbz so far, as this video is not about him. However, going forward, he will be mentioned more often because Anisa's actions would begin to really start negatively affecting his career, most of the time worse than hers. I will still try my best to keep the focus mainly on Anisa though, because I do have an Idubbbz documentary re-releasing very soon that goes over in much greater detail the negative effects Anisa's actions have had on his career. After Anisa's OnlyFans announcement, Idubbbz was branded by most of the internet as a cuck or a simp. His first response was to jokingly respond to the simp allegations with this tweet: "I'm done, fuckers, I'm done. No more Mr. Nice Simp." If this was the only way Ian responded, it probably would have blown over after a few weeks, but he decided to drop a video after this that made everything 10 times worse. The video was titled "Sex Workers, Idubbbz Complains," which was essentially him molding for 10 minutes about people criticizing him for having a girlfriend that does OnlyFans. Idubbbz goes off on some random 15-year-old on Twitter with sub 100 followers that was jokingly mocking him, and he takes shots at the YouTuber Otozi, who made comments like having an OnlyFans could potentially ruin future job opportunities, which most people would agree with. Not Ian though.
And then future jobs, they might be a little bit harder to come by.
I think this is one of the most important opinions to highlight because it really demonstrates a severe lack of real-world experience when you're saying that future jobs are going to be harder to come by because of an OnlyFans account. Like, if you think this affects your standing or your social credibility in getting jobs, you are so sadly mistaken.
He would end this coping video by insanely stating he doesn't care if people jerk off to Anisa.
That pretty much wraps up this video. I love my girlfriend, and I'm totally fine with dudes jacking off to pictures of her on the internet. Doesn't affect me one way or the other. If you are upset by me admitting this, then I suggest you go idolize someone else.
For the rest of 2020, Anisa would post on OnlyFans while also trying to keep her streaming career alive. Her streams haven't changed, with her breast being the main focus of her content while she spews out the ignorant thoughts in her head. Here is Anisa in October trying to explain to her chat why animal shelters are actually bad because she believes they perpetuate the behavior of treating pets like they're disposable. I honestly don't know how someone could manage to come to such a stupid conclusion, and her chat didn't agree with her at all.
I guess I have to see how many adopt from shelters. But shelters, where do you think the dogs that need to be adopted from shelters come from?
I know where they come from. People giving them up. People throwing them out to the street. Proverbially. To the proverbial street. Where would they go otherwise? You think they would just keep them at home? No. No, they wouldn't. Real story. My dad's gonna be pissed for me telling this. He doesn't have to know. He doesn't have to find out unless he's watching this. Hi, Pops. But when my brother was little, they had a dog that they didn't realize was going to get a lot bigger. It ended up getting really large. And my brother was like, I don't know if he must have been under 5 because I wasn't born yet. So he was under 5, and this dog was getting kind of aggressive and to a size where it kept like knocking him over, being too rowdy when playful. It growled at him like when he was eating food and stuff like that. And my dad decided they had to give him up. He was like, we can't take care of this dog anymore. I don't want it to like get to a point where, you know, the dog isn't getting the love and care that it needs, and we need to figure out something for it. But he didn't take it to a shelter. What he did was he said he went to a park where there were a bunch of kids and just let it go go play with the kids. He said I'm saying the dog was aggressive, but it was aggressive for like a 4 or 5-year-old, you know. A dog that's just super on ya, you know, open mouth type of thing. It could injure a little kid. But they go, he let it out with just a bunch of dogs at a park. And I'm sure, you know, someone did something. Even if one of them just ended up calling, one of their parents ended up calling the, pet control or something and got the dog sent to the pound. I don't know, but hopefully the hope is in the town that they were in, one of those kids just took the dog home. Hopefully. That's what you'd expect, not gonna lie. Free dog on some level. But it really does depend. But it's kind of like, that is crazy, I know. But he was a young dad, you know. What are you gonna do? And I think, like, that's not good. And that's exactly the type of thing that would just happen over and over and over again with if you didn't have shelters. Yeah, nah, F dad. Old school parents doing the darndest thing. So true. But that's exactly my point, is that if we don't have places where people can actively go give up their dog, and don't worry, that's what we did the next time. My parents have just had a bad run with dogs, it seems. Have to say, big L's. I think I have to unsub from your dad's OnlyFans now. Damn. I'll let him know. Real sorry. Sorry about it. Hey, at least my dad isn't isn't following a bunch of porn accounts. Is that better or worse than letting a dog out? Letting a dog out to go maul some kids. That's like worst case scenario, right? Well, best case scenario is the dog went, they got it, and they took it home. Worst case scenario is the dog fucking ran up and just started mauling one of the kids right in the park. But yeah, that's why we need dog shelters. This is why we need places where you can give up your animals. You know, thinking about it, he probably should have just done that, but that is what it is. Can't change the past, you know? I'm going to totally bring that up the next time I see him. I haven't thought about that in a while.
To explain to her chat why animal shelters are actually bad because she...
I volunteer with a cat rescue, and people will tell us wild stories about what happened to their last cat and expect me to hand one over. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like, if you're trying to get something, you gotta lie. Like, here's the thing. The truth is that everybody loves animals, but probably like 30% of people are fit to actually take care of them. Bring it up during your next argument. Something that happened before I was even born. Like, yeah, well, you fucking let that dog out. Yeah, well, you let that dog fucking go maul those kids. What about that, huh? See, but I do think that's true. That probably, maybe even less than that, maybe like 20%. Everybody loves animals. Only like 20% of people are actually fit to take care of them. And that's the fucking most true. We forced these animals into our care. And then what have we done?
Believes they perpetuate the behavior of treating pets like they're disposable. I honestly don't know how someone could manage to come to such a stupid conclusion, and her chat didn't agree with her at all.
I guess I have to see how many adopt from shelters. But shelters, where do you think the dogs that need to be adopted from shelters come from? They come from irresponsible fucking people that are breeding their dogs because they think it would be cute or fun to like breed their dog with their fucking neighbor's dog or whatever, or they let their dog out and get pregnant, and then they have a whole litter that they try to sell because they think they can make money off of it, and they do irresponsible things like they give the dogs away too early. They don't socialize the dogs properly. Then when the dogs go to other homes, to typically bad homes, because the bar to purchase a dog when it comes from a backyard breeder is so low, then you have a bunch of horribly treated dogs across the board, dogs that were just set up from the get-go to have horrible like lives, and then they wind up in the pound. And then we adopt it because it's trendy and good to do. And don't get me wrong, it is great to adopt a dog and work from the adoption center with a dog. If you're one of those people, I admire that. That's great. But like when you are just allowing that.
I mean, buying from shelters, like getting animals from shelters, helps discourage the breeding practices because less people are then buying the designer dogs. Yeah, her logic just doesn't hold up at all.
To happen with zero consequence, then it's just enforcing these people like, oh, it's fine if nobody buys my dogs or whatever, then I can take them to the fucking shelter. And then people who are like, oh, it's fine, I'm having problems with my $50 dog I bought from my neighbor, I'll just send it to the shelter. Like, somebody will adopt it. It's so popular to adopt. I don't have.
I mean, also, it's just funny because it's like I'm saying, I think that a lot of the time too, you get in over your head, and that's why I think people should probably really think about it before getting pets, because like I said, you're probably not in the best situation to take care of a pet, like at any point until you're like fully established. I probably shouldn't have a cat right now, you know? But these things happen, and you try and give them the best life. It's like having a kid. You don't yell at everybody for having kids. You're poor and you have a son. Fuck you. Like, what are we doing? Imagine thinking this and defending Hassan, Shak, and Kaya. Well, I mean, it's always just like flavor of the week, right? Like, it's just agree with whatever makes sense in the moment. No principles, just current stances.
Don't have to worry about it. And then you have like this just so many dogs coming in. Like, I don't know, both are bad.
I thought about it for 4 years before I adopted my cat. To be fair, we didn't go buy my cat or like go adopt him or anything. Like, I guess we adopted him. My friend had a cat that he wasn't trying to get like have babies, and then it got out, and then one of the other cats in like, he was basically living with people. The cat got into one of the other rooms with another cat that wasn't neutered, and it got pregnant. So she got pregnant, and then my cat was born. Only one. She only had one kitten, and it was him. That's why he is so big and strong. He got all the nutrients. But at the time, he was like living in a trailer and stuff. So I was like, hey, bro, let me take it. Let me take the cat. I was like, cat living in a trailer, cat living in a different place. It was like, it's a different vibe. And he's honestly doing better like now. He already had cats. So I'm not saying he was like living in fucking squalor or something. But my point is that he was in an even more confined space than I am now, and didn't have the space for one more cat. Yeah, only one kitten. I learned this actually recently. When cats have like a bunch of different like colored cats, like a bunch of different breeds, that's because they got out and had sex with a bunch of different cats. Like, cats usually have like a couple in a litter, but you don't know me, Captain. I love to shame parents, don't we all? I'm not saying you don't do it. I'm just saying, like, if you're genuinely getting like a visceral reaction on some level, like, come on. We shit on people because we like to shit on people. We do it for the love of the game. It's not like just like the eye color genetics thing. Yeah, it depends on the breeds, obviously. Like if a cat, like if it's a calico, or wait, not a calico. Like, I think if they have genetic traits from their parents passed down, it's like dominant versus recessive genes. That's why there's often a run. That one was created a while after the others and born too early. We only adopted one cat. She's blind and her name is Nori. Rubio came in December of 2023 and stayed forever. And Michu was my neighbor's cat. They moved out and left him there. Aw. Well, glad he's got a home now. Shout out cats. Shout out pets in general. Gang, gang. Oh, so true. Silliest goose 418. I will forever say so true. I don't care. I do care. I'm trying to work it out, but it's hard.
Both, you should support both. You should support people who are doing their research and going to like reputable breeders that are responsibly breeding like once or twice a year, period. And only when they have enough demand on a list to be breeding, they're not overbreeding, versus and you should also support people.
I mean, you should probably just be like discouraging breeding culture in general, right? Like, yeah, ethical breeders are great and all, but I think like kind of the circumstances in which I got my animal is probably like the way you want to do it in general, right? Is like you get pets, you don't need to get them neutered or spayed, and then you just, when they have pets, when they have babies, then you give them, you go, here neighbor, here friend, here this person, have a couple of these babies. And obviously that isn't a perfect system, because that's how you end up getting like a lot of people that have pets that they don't need. But that's also why you get animals spayed and neutered, though, too, because you don't want to just have endless breeding. But we have our guy, and he's not neutered right now. And that's why he keeps us up, because he's like 4 now, and he keeps us up at like 3 a.m. just meowing all night. But we'd like him to be able to have a litter someday. Have his own babies. Have his own single baby, maybe. Who knows?
That want to adopt and work with the dogs as well.
Fast forwarding to April 2021, Anisa and Idubbbz would get engaged. They would have a small Las Vegas wedding 2 months later in June, where the couple would be officially married. Idubbbz would shockingly take Anisa's last name, becoming Ian Jomha, breaking the usual tradition of the wife taking her husband's last name. Anisa made Ian do this because she hated his last name. She claimed on her streams that it was white trash and sounded ugly, which is incredibly shallow.
People found the marriage certificate very fast, which is like kind of surprising. Not that it matters, but the only reason why we chose my name over his last name is because his last name is like just objectively ugly. It's just like an ugly last name. Like Washburn sounds horrendous. Like Anisa Washburn definitely stormed the Capitol.
I actually know somebody with the last name Washburn, and I just think it's so funny every time I hear her say this.
That's how that went. But like, I feel like, I don't know. That's like, to me, Anisa Washburn sounds bad.
If that's not emasculating Idubbbz, the fact that Anisa posted half-naked photos of herself on Twitter to promote her OnlyFans on their wedding night sure as hell is. Ian will never beat the cuck allegations. If you haven't figured it out by now, Anisa loves to humiliate her husband, and this is just one of the many examples. Another terrible decision Anisa started to contemplate around the same time as her wedding was if she should shave her head. No, that's not a joke. In just 1 month after her wedding, she went full Britney Spears and buzzed off all the hair on her head. She would insanely blame her choice to do this on her internet haters days later.
And remember, with a little rusties and an insane amount of luck, you too can look like me.
Anisa initially denied regretting her decision to buzz off all her hair, but within a couple months, she totally gave in. She would post things like this on her Instagram stories. The worst part of shaving your head is how long it takes to grow back. I go from loving it to hating it and being sad it won't be long for years, all in the span of a week. I know I'm the type of person who only learns by making the mistake myself, but damn, I'm having real sad boy hours right now. Sometimes I feel like I ruined everything. That last line is prophetic. Towards the end of 2021, Anisa would receive a DM from the YouTuber known as RiceGum. RiceGum was somebody Idubbbz made a content cop video on years prior. He sent Anisa a message challenging Idubbbz to a fight and stating that he fell off. Anisa would then show this message to her husband and convince him to set up a legit...
This creator seems judgy in a way I don't care for. Yeah, he also said he used a pejorative for I'm trying to used a pejorative for autistic people. DID? IDD? DID. Developmental and intellectual disabilities. Yeah. DID? The DID community.
legitimate boxing match. Idubbbz would go along with this and planned on throwing a whole event backed by a boxing promotion until Rice Gum pulled out of this idea. This wouldn't stop the Jomhas from continuing forward with the idea of hosting a YouTuber boxing event, which were growing in popularity around this time because of other YouTubers like Jake Paul and KSI. Anisa and Ian would create what is known as Creator Clash. With YouTuber boxing events already being an established thing, the Jomhas decided to make their event for charity to stand out from the other popular promotions like Happy Punch or Misfits. The pair recruited 18 well-known YouTubers who were interested in the idea of boxing for charity.
Yeah, because DID is dissociative identity disorder. Yeah, what?
Ian would begin boxing training because he was going to be the main fight for the event, going up against the YouTuber Dr. Mike. Anisa.
It is IDD? Okay. Thank you. So it's DID, dissociative identity disorder, and then IDD. Okay. That's why I just went with autistic, because I was like, I'm not using it as a pejorative. I'm just saying that he was used. He used the shortened term. He used the shortened form of Asperger's earlier. I think I was going to say something, but then I started reading chat, or like I started saying something about something in chat, and ended up passing by. Maybe Nick is a nobody. I started by saying he's not a nobody, but maybe he is.
Would also train alongside Ian because she was supposed to fight the streamer Justa Minx as well, but she would end up dropping out after allegedly receiving a concussion during sparring. Anisa would be given the pseudo role of boxing promoter after this, and she would claim to be the person who checked in with all the fighters on the roster. Her job was essentially to make sure everyone was going to their training sessions and not pocketing the $20,000 checks they were given to cover the training cost. It should be no surprise that Anisa failed to do these check-ins, and there were multiple fighters that did just that.
We also found out that she had only sparred like 3 times before fighting.
That's horrible.
Which is not what we were wanting to happen.
Yeah.
Regardless of this fact, the first Creator Clash was held on May 14th, 2022, and luckily it was a tremendous success. Idubbbz didn't win his fight against Dr. Mike, but the event managed to generate over $1.3 million for charity.
Hans Asperger was a Nazi? What? Wait. Described children in his care who struggled to form friendships. Was he part of Operation Paperclip? See, I always find these type of things so funny, where it's like, it's Mr. Asperger. It's like Joseph Pilates. Have you guys ever heard of Joseph Pilates, the creator of Pilates? I understand that is like a very common naming convention to just use the last name of people. But that is crazy. He did horrible experiments on autistic children. Yeah, I did not know that's where that name came from. And to think that was like what had become the politically correct, I guess it wasn't necessarily the politically correct, it was just a more specific identifier, I suppose. But for a time. I think it's Joseph Pilates. Joseph Pilates. Yeah, Joseph Pilates. He created Pilates while in prison. What did he do? Why was he in prison? In prison. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, he was a prisoner of war. That's what it was. He created it in a prison while prisoner of war during World War I, detained at the Nakalo camp on the Isle of Man. And he created Pilates. What a fucking G.
So that's a win in my books. I wish I was going to be able to say the same thing about Creator Clash.
Imagine naming a disorder after yourself. Well, I just look. Apparently someone else named it after him because of his research. Was basically the reason. Which is like kind of, like I said, it's a common naming convention to name names after. Like usually it doesn't come, I won't say usually because I don't know if that's true, like by numbers, but at times it won't be named by the person. It'll be named like as a, like someone who has studied under them or something that then names it after them. And it's like they're technically the founder of it, but they named it after the origin where like the study originated. If I discover a horrific disease, I'm naming it after Anisa. I don't even remember, what did that guy end up naming his disease? That guy ended up naming his disorder. I don't know if it was a disease.
2 and 3, but I'm getting ahead of myself. After the event, Anisa and Ian would spend time going on podcasts and live streams to give their thoughts about how everything went. They joined the controversial live streamer Hassan Piker's broadcast, where they made excuses and coped about Ian's loss to Dr. Mike. Anisa claimed it wasn't a fair fight because Dr. Mike weighed more than Ian and that he had previous boxing experience. Ian would both—
My dad, who I don't speak to, just called and hung up when I answered. Should I be concerned? Maybe a little bit. Send a text, just question marks? Fine, no poll then. I don't usually do the polls for member streams because sometimes it's a waiting room, sometimes it's not. It depends.
boldly say Dr. Mike was a bad opponent that didn't bring much to the event and that he should have fought Hassan because he's more popular. The pair would also discuss for the next creator clash, Ian will need to fight someone with more clout.
Yes, Pilates is that old. Pilates been around for a minute. I feel like the guy who created Pilates probably named it after himself, though.
Like Hassan. One thing that Anisa says on this stream that I think is important to note down for the future is when she tells Hassan how she hates other influencer boxing promotions because it's just rich people trying to make a profit off the back of creators.
I'm more extreme than Ian, where I'm like pretty anti-capitalist. I hate landlords. I hate the system that we're in. Like, I think the reason why I really like the charity boxing event is because at least we can like find ways to give money to people who actually need it rather than like just being, I think what really made me mad about boxing events in the past is that it's rich assholes betting their money to make money to like have people that are struggling to like make ends meet and pay rent, watch them do it. And then they'll go home and like have a lot of money and like whatever. It keeps going.
And the fighters are exploited too, like usually.
Remember that line for a controversy that will be presented later in this video. Anisa and Ian would sink all of their eggs into the creator clash basket after its initial success. This wasn't because they loved boxing or charity, but because they wanted to siphon clout and relevance off the current list of popular creators and streamers. And that's not some crazy Reddit conspiracy theory. Anisa and Ian previously went on the H3 podcast and claimed their main goal is to get people paid, and they wanted creator clash to be like VidCon, where influencers can come together and party for a couple days.
I think we always want to have, if we keep doing this type of event, and we kind of want it to be like a Super Bowl, like every year.
You want to do it again?
Yeah.
I see.
If it works out, then we can do that. And there could always be a charity aspect to it. But I think the main goal is just to get the people paid who are involved in making it happen, rather than like making exorbitant amounts of money.
So your goal is to build an institution of sorts, this creator clash, where you can have people,
fun.
There's a champion every year.
Yeah, it's a party.
Interesting.
It's like a way more exciting VidCon, or like I want it to be like influencers can like care about this and fans can care about this and like watch it and have like a build up, like maybe parties before and like stuff.
Yeah, because we've gone to like the last Jake Paul event, and it was crazy the amount of influencers that were there, excited to see it. They weren't all my cup of tea.
Sure.
But it was exciting. Everyone wanted to be there. It was fun, and I think if we can harness some of that, but have it be even more exciting, because all of our fighters are mystery fights. You don't know how it's going to go. And then you have this, charity element. It's just like a win all around.
This line of thinking would ultimately cause the downfall of their event. Anisa would continue to stream sporadically in between Creator Clash 1 and Creator Clash 2. It's around this time she would begin to start trying to assimilate into Twitch's left-wing political community. She started a podcast in 2023 with Caseytron and Denims, who would both identify as left-wing streamers. Denims arguably being one of the largest on Twitch. This podcast was called The Take, and it was honestly one of the most uninteresting things I've had to force myself to watch. In the first episode, the group explained that the podcast was created because they felt like there was a lack of female voices giving their opinions on what happens on Twitch. Within the first 5 minutes, these girls divulged that they have a private group chat together where Anisa sends paragraphs of text about her personal dramas.
Like in our group chat, I'll be like, this shit's fucking annoying me. And I don't know, it's just been like a nice release to not just feel like I'm being crazy all the time.
Yeah, I'm glad that we all agreed that that's how we were going to use it, because I was like, okay, is this going to be like a work group chat? And then like you guys were both like, no, this isn't. I'm like, yes, okay, good.
I was so ready to unload. I feel bad because I send you guys like books on there. I'm just like fucking typing for like 10 minutes. I'll like send like a fucking thesis.
But it's also interesting though. Like Anisa will just like tell me some, like I'm like, holy shit, I didn't know that at all. Like Anisa will just tell me like some real like.
Anisa then goes on a weird tangent about how she doesn't like her American neighbors because they're too friendly. She believes they're only friendly because they have an ulterior motive to eventually take advantage of her. And then she claims she's had a nightmare experience with her neighbors in all 3 of the homes she's lived in.
Me and Ian have lived in 3 different houses over the past 7 years. Unfortunately, we had to move because we were doxxed out of one of them, but all 3 we had.
Start taking your bets now. Is she the problem or is it her neighbors? I know where my money's going.
Incredibly busybody neighbors that like wanted to talk to us and wanted to see what was up and wanted to like, kind of just get in our, you could tell it wasn't like, hey, I want to get to know you because, we're neighbors. It was like, I want to like get in a position where if I need something in the future or you're doing something that I disagree with, I can like get in your shit. You know what I mean? Whereas like where I'm from, neighbors don't talk to each other, right? You're just kind of like, we're all existing and, if you need something, I'm here, but like we don't need to like get into it. But we've had nightmare experiences in all 3 houses that we've had with neighbors that just care a little bit too much.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
My neighbors care too much, so I think that they just want something from me. My neighbors, people offer me stuff, and I always just assume that they're doing it for some ulterior motive. You know what I do? I take whatever handouts people give me, like whatever it is, I don't give a shit. I take it, and then if they ask me for something later and I don't want to do it, I go, no. Oh, well, what about this thing I did for you? Okay, you got a fucking contract or something? I just told you no. Now, we can still be friends, or if you want to, like, be an asshole right now, you can just fuck off. Like, it's kind of that simple. I mean, really, like, I'm going to do the most that I can for everybody that is around me. I care about all people. But at the end of the day, you should not make or break anybody, and nobody should make or break you. And that's kind of the brass tacks of it. What about that sugar I gave you? I don't give a fuck. It doesn't mean anything to me.
Didn't understand the busybody neighbor meme until I moved to the US.
This reminds me of the popular saying, if you find everyone around you is an asshole, you just might be the asshole. Anisa, if everywhere you go you have bad neighbors...
I feel like she's projecting because she only uses people for her own benefit. Definitely. I mean, I don't understand how you could come to that conclusion at all. Hey, what's up? Oh, how you doing? Oh yeah, you moved in recently. I wonder, like, what conversations could you be having that would lead you to the conclusion that they're trying to get something out of you? What kind of paintings do you have inside? Do you remember the artist names? What kind of valuables do you own? Also, what does she mean once we start doing something, they're going to come... Is she saying, like, if we have a big party or something? Like, I don't understand the context that she's, like, talking about at all. Like, the way she's almost framing it is, like, I don't like to talk to my neighbors in case I want to do something that's abject to, like... like, you know what I mean? That's, like... I don't know. Like, I really don't get it. Like, unless... Like, there's no need to not get to know your neighbors. And she's a socialist? She hates her neighbors and she's a socialist? You come to expect it.
You just might be the bad neighbor. After this, the group would discuss streamer-related topics like Aiden Ross saying inflammatory things because it's an easy way to grow an audience. This is ironic coming from these girls who essentially became popular for doing a very similar thing. The girls planned on making this
Get something out of them. What do they have to give? I mean, yeah, maybe. I didn't even think about it from that perspective. The neighbors just saw them and were just like, oh my god. We should help the new neighbors out. Oh. It seems like they could maybe use it. Honey, I was over at the neighbors today and he couldn't build, he was putting together this wall. I guess it was like kind of like a decorative piece he was adding to his wall. Can you go help him with it? He said he had a stream or something to do. I don't know. Hey, honey, can you I was helping him set up his wall, and his wife came in with just a whole bagel. She just handed me a whole bagel. Can you maybe go over and give her a tip or two about, how to cut a bagel, maybe?
Podcast a regular occurrence, but only 2 episodes.
Members is live. I usually keep going once the members go live because I know not everybody's a member. But I'm honestly wondering, should I? Well, what are they doing today?
I want to say thank you so much for coming and supporting us.
You heard what he said. I can't play this obviously because it's a members episode, but they are live. See you next Wednesday. Someone pointed this out, and it's such like an easy save. See you next time. See you next time is such an easy W, but then they have to drop the W. Oh, quite a predicament they found themselves in. I'm going to give it a minute. I'm going to keep watching. We're going to see how low the concurrent viewers drop. And if it goes super low, then we'll then maybe we'll leave. But I'm like, this is just here's the thing. It's been good up to this point, but I feel like we're almost too modern day, and I don't see how Nick Nobody can have another hour's worth of content. Like he has like another 50 minutes worth of Anisa. I don't even understand. And I don't know what else there is to really say.
Episodes would ever be released, so that should show you how much of a disaster this was. Around the same time that this failed podcast was created, Anisa and Ian would announce Creator Clash 2. Following the success of Creator Clash 1, Anisa and Ian pushed forward with their dream of hosting their own version of VidCon. They massively scaled up from the first event with things like a larger production, more fighters, and a bigger venue. The Jomhas also thought it would be a genius idea to rent out an entire hotel.
I heard Anisa and Ian got a snake and didn't even know how long a snake lives. Really? That's just... And she was complaining about people not being good pet owners and not knowing about their dogs and stuff. I did hear that they got a snake, but I didn't know that they didn't know how long snakes live. I think it depends on the snake, right? Snake life expectancy. I can look this up right now because I've never had a snake. My brother actually had some type of a lizard when we were kids. It lived a pretty good long time. Snake lifespans vary significantly from 2 to 4 years for smaller wild species like garter snakes to over 40 years for larger species like pythons and boas in captivity. Interesting.
For the creators they invited, costing over $150,000. They also flew in streamers like Hassan Piker, Denims, Frogan, and many more just to...
They got a super unethical breed of snake too. Amazing. Amazing. Good job. Why does this guy look photoshopped in? This guy right here looks like he's fucking photoshopped into this image. Like his outfit doesn't match theirs at all. He's wearing a fucking... He's wearing a wife respecter and a literally like a backpack. The wide stance. Who is this guy? I don't know who this guy is. I can't tell. Maybe it's just the angle.
To quote-unquote promote the event, which none of them really did. They paid for the company Getty Images to come to the event and take pictures of everyone attending. They even threw 4 separate influencer parties leading up to and after the boxing matches, and there was a red carpet gala event where Anisa got to hand out fake awards to the fighters. She even got...
They got a ball python. They're like pugs for snakes, hella inbreeding. Oh, damn true. I did not know that. I feel like ball python is kind of like a common one that people get too. That's interesting.
Got to humiliate her husband on a live broadcast.
He was in the shower, like coughing in the morning, and I filmed it because I thought we were going to do a documentary. So I like filmed him coughing in the shower all night. He was coughing. I was like, oh my god, this is going to be so bad. He also had fractured shins, but like you can fight on fractured shins, but you couldn't be as bouncy. But we found out.
People are going to be saying excuses for the fight from a year ago.
Let me just add, he still would have lost to Dr. Mike even if he could breathe and didn't have fractured shins.
No, that's valid.
Because of all of this, Creator Clash 2 failed to generate a single penny for charity. The event actually ended up losing over $250,000, which directly came out of Anisa and Ian's pockets. Their ridiculous overspending on unnecessary things was the downfall of this event. The charity for children's cancer research didn't receive $1, but at least Anisa got to rub shoulders with influencers while a comedian who was paid $20,000 told his bad jokes at her after party. There was also a massive drama between Anisa and one of the fighters before the event happened. This caused Creator Clash to receive a massive wave of negative publicity that contributed to its failure. One of the original fighters on the Creator Clash 2 card was Froggy Fresh. Froggy is a legacy YouTuber that is beloved by many and was easily one of the most anticipated fights on the lineup. He was also one of the biggest promoters of Creator Clash, going on different podcasts to promote the event and build hype around it.
My cousin used to work at a zoo and people would abandon their pet snakes there all the time. A lot of them were ball pythons. We saved 2 of them and had them at our place. That's crazy. Okay, I know my dad's story was crazy. But going to the zoo, that just seems like you don't care about that animal at all. Because you could maybe chalk my dad's up to just like a bit of ignorance, like he was hoping a little bit of idealism, if you want to say that. But like, I feel like, I guess you're expecting the zookeepers and stuff to take care of them. But I feel like you could almost like 100% expect them to die in that scenario. We also had a pet turtle someone abandoned too. Damn. Yeah, I feel like you would just like, they would just die, right? Like if you guys wouldn't have just like picked them up, even if they had been like in an enclosure or something, they would just die there, I would assume. They just leave the animals in boxes. But oh, what? That's even crazier. I thought you meant like on site, like they leave them inside, like by the enclosures or something, like nearby. They just leave the animals in boxes by the front gate and leave them there in the middle of the night. That is actually so insane. Shout out you. Big ups. How do I say this? Angry Togepi? 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 I said it as many ways as I could. One of those, it still probably wasn't correct.
His fight. Unfortunately, one of the ways Froggy tried to promote his fight would end up costing him his spot on the card.
It was a zoo in the middle of a fucking city, too. Thank you.
Just 3 weeks before the event was scheduled. Froggy would go on Twitter and jokingly claim that if he lost his fight to Chris Raygun, he would be so ashamed of himself that he would subscribe to Anisa's OnlyFans.
There seems to be substantial evidence that Chris Raygun is now on Adderall. Well, young man, amphetamines couldn't save Hitler, and they can't save you either.
Oh, Togepi? Yeah? Ian was like, the seller said it lives 25 years, but I thought it was like 2 to 3 years. Wait. Ian was like, the seller said it was 25 years, but I thought it was like 2 to 3 years. Like, he thought it was 2 to 3 years and bought it anyways? Or he was like, oh, I didn't even know they lived that long. Like, I'm just confused. I thought they only lived 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I feel like you would do the research beforehand, like, before going there. Most people just call me Guppy. You got it. It's alright. It's a bit with streamers where they never say it right. Okay. Well, there's another for the list.
April 15th. If I don't hurt you beyond what anybody could have imagined, I will be so disappointed in myself that I will subscribe to it.
My pythons lived like 7 to 8 years. Okay. Well, because
this greatly upset Anisa, and just 2 days after Froggy would post this, the Creator Clash Twitter would announce that he has been removed from the card. This announcement didn't give any explanation on why Froggy was removed, and they even disabled the comments on the post in an attempt to mitigate the onslaught of criticism.
Yeah, because that's what I thought. I didn't want to be wrong. Because there's different morphs of ball pythons. Like, I don't know if you'd consider those like different breeds or something, like dogs. Or maybe, I guess that would be even less distinct than that. But the morphs, the different color patterns, does that distinguish any type of like age, like difference between them?
They know they were going to receive. This removal would cause a massive uproar amongst the fans who were all anticipating seeing Froggy fight. Even larger creators like Moist Critical, Some Ordinary Gamers, and Gideon voiced their disappointment with this decision. They even offered hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of charity donations if Froggy got—
No, they do not. Okay. No snake morphs do not inherently have different lifespans. Lifespans is determined by the snake's species and the quality of care it receives. However, some specific morphs may have genetic conditions that lead to shorter lifespans. For example, certain ball python morphs, such like the spider morph, can have neurological issues that negatively impact their health and quality of life. That just comes from a Facebook post, though, apparently. So take that with a huge gram of salt.
Got put back on the card. All of this fell on deaf ears, though, as the Jomha's unexplained decision to remove Froggy was final. Anisa and Ian would come out over a year later on their podcast and claim that Froggy wasn't removed for this OnlyFans joke, but because he was bad-mouthing the event and OnlyFans creators. This wasn't even remotely true, as Froggy wouldn't begin to trash talk Anisa and Ian or Creator Clash until after he was removed and was rightfully frustrated. Another reason people speculated Froggy was removed from the card was because he received his boxing training from the controversial creator Sam Hyde. Sam is someone Idubbbz tried to make a documentary on back in 2021. This documentary would blow up in Ian's face tremendously, as Sam rightfully suspected it to be a gotcha-style hit piece and effectively trolled Ian throughout the whole filming process. Ever since this happened, Idubbbz has hated Sam. Again, I covered this entire feud between these two in much greater detail inside my
I think this is where I'm going to have to call it, because now I know he said I'm not going to talk too much about Idubbbz in this video. I feel like he already has quite a bit in these last few minutes. And I've got to be honest, it's 2 already for me, and I've got some stuff I've got to do today, including working on a video. But I really do appreciate everybody that stopped in and all the people that are still sticking around right now. Let me see if there's anybody that is live right now that I can send you guys over to. Remember, like and subscribe if you haven't already. Ooh, Hutch is live right now. I'll send you guys over to Hutch. Destiny explodes on Wick panel. Don't know what that's about, but it's apparently been going for a while, I think. I cannot tell. That's what it seems like. But I really do appreciate everybody that stopped in. Remember to like and subscribe if you haven't already. This is Captain Quasar signing off.